All right, what's going on? We're back. This is the revisiting part for the Matthew Berry Challenge. James Herrick is here, as always, for the referee part of things. We thought going in that we were going to have a good year, but holy hell, James Herrick. I'm excited to go over the results. How are you? It's about to be 2026.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
New Year's Eve. It was a successful fantasy football season. And the Matthew Berry Challenge ended up being quite the blowout. And we'll go over all the results, like you said. But some of these picks and predictions ended up aging like not even fine wine, because the predictions hit too quick to be fine wine. They aged great.
Yeah, so I guess we can go over this part at the end. But, I mean, long story short, if the roles were actually reversed, I was making millions of dollars doing fantasy football. Someone called me out for my predictions and I got smoked like this, I'd be fucking embarrassed. So we'll go over the whole list, but I don't know what more evidence people need in terms of this guy. He's just not good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and a lot of these in here are not very disputable as well.
No.
It's not an argument. It's not a discussion. There's an over/under on a number, and it hit by.
And it's not close. And most of these are not close.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we have a lot of picks this year, so we might as well get rolling, or else this video is going to be 800, minutes long. So.
Yeah, we can. And right at the quarterbacks, quarterback number 1, great example of just exactly what we're talking about here. Quarterback 1 was Justin Herbert, and you took the over, so to finish higher than quarterback.
No, I took the under, right?
Or yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Unders for.
Do we want to put up the screenshots for where they finished too, just so that people don't think we are making this shit up?
Yeah, I can
see.
Do that.
So yeah, I'll link everything in the YouTube and article version just for people to follow along. But I want to show people the actual screenshots too for where these guys actually finished, so that people don't think I'm making this shit up. So. Yeah, the first name that we went over was Justin Herbert. The line was quarterback
17. And it wasn't.
And he obliterated it.
Close at all.
Yeah, and in the original video, we talked about this. Yeah, so he finishes as quarterback 8.
Mm-hmm.
In the original video, we talked about how, we understand that Jim Harbaugh likes to run the ball. But they came out and fucking threw it this year, big time. And they have a bunch of weapons. That part didn't change. He literally made, if you go back and watch the previous year's version of the Matthew Berry Challenge, he made the same mistake again.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, I understand that the Chargers want to run the ball, but it's far more important to be on a good team with a good coach that's going to score points.
Yep. And it was we'll talk about it later as well with Omarion Hampton, who was a fade, but it was just baked in that he was going to be outstanding, and they were going to run, and that's all they were going to do was run, which is people still base Jim Harbaugh's NFL style based off what Michigan did when they won the national championship.
Yeah,
playing NFL football, not college football, and it has been adapted to that. And Herbert. He wasn't dashing with his legs. He wasn't the best rusher in the league, but he gave you a couple touchdowns and scrambled a little bit, especially more in the fantasy football playoffs. So he had some rushing production baked into his numbers as well.
Yeah, and an underrated part of the Herbert conversation was, remember in the original love-hate column where Matthew Berry basically took a ricochet shot at ESPN and said, QB 11 is too high. Well, he even smashed QB 11. So I don't know. I just think there should be a lot more accountability on Matthew Berry's side, especially, look, if you're going to call out your old employer and say, hey, quarterback 11's too high. Well, he smashed quarterback 11. So what does that make you, buddy?
Yeah. And another thing about Herbert is didn't miss many games, which for some of the quarterbacks.
He did get hurt a bunch too and played through it.
Yeah. And for some of these quarterbacks, Daniel Jones here at 14, he got you to QB 14, but he also wasn't there for the fantasy football playoffs. And other guys just...
And he's been hurt before, too, with Daniel Jones.
And that's applicable to other guys as well, but Herbert, a guy who played every single week, even though he was beat up significantly. So
yeah. So clear win. There's no even arguing this one.
Yeah. Pretty undisputable. Let's go out of order slightly a little bit here so I can keep the same screenshot up.
Okay.
Sam Darnold, one of the quarterbacks on the list, line set at QB 27, had him to outperform that, and he almost doubled it up going QB 13.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's necessary to play the old video. If people want to go back and reference it, they can. But I specifically said in the old video, I'm betting Seattle to win the NFC West. We're still in play. Last week of the year, we're still in the mix. And then what I also said is, I think Darnold's going to finish around QB 15. He matched it barely, but still, like, QB 15 was the correct ranking for this one. He finishes as 13. He's so I play in a 13-team league. He was basically a QB1, depending on how many teams you had, or a top-end QB2. So if you played in 10 teams or 12 teams or whatever. So this was a fucking home run. If you ended up with Darnold as your third quarterback, because that's basically where he's being ranked, you fucking stole big time here.
Yep, and that's how you win leagues right there. Anytime you're getting a guy who's outperforming draft position by that extreme, that right there is exactly how you win leagues.
And again, I don't know why people didn't see this before the year. It will never make sense to me. But the bottom line here with the Darnold thing is, at some point, can we just admit the guy's not fucking terrible? Because I just think people want to pretend like, oh, he was drafted by the Jets, and because he didn't work with the Jets, he sucks. No. Like, Darnold has the most wins at the quarterback position over the last 2 years of anybody. They've won 14 games back-to-back years. So at some point, can we just give the guy a little fucking respect?
Yeah, and
that's all I want.
It also gets to a point where you don't have to be an MVP caliber player to have fantasy value. It feels like players who don't have that extreme amount of upside, we just take them at QB 27 or QB 20, way down the list when.
And by the way, we talked about how, we're going to slide Herbert down the rankings because they're going to run the ball a lot. Seattle ran the ball a fuck ton. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine if he actually got the keys to throw a ton? He would have finished even higher on the list. So even though Seattle was one of the most run-heavy teams in the league, he still finished at that spot.
Yep. And when they get down in the red zone, they're putting A.J. Barner in there and letting him do that right. QB sneak thing, which I'm not saying Sam Darnold is going to go out there and get QB sneaks, but takes away maybe a potential RP or play action, couple passing.
But he might have finished, 10-11 then.
Mm-hmm.
So
you mix in a couple extra passing touchdowns or something like that.
Either way, even without that stuff, he was still a smashing value this year.
Yep, I agree. All right, and
so right now it's 2-0, just to clarify.
Yep, 2-0. The next quarterback is this one. Also, by the way, I think I remember when we recorded. This was we're doing it just. We were going down with the ship a little bit, I believe. Yep. It was Tua Tagovailoa, and it was
and he missed by 3.2, or it would have been a draw.
Yep, and it was the under QB 24. Yeah. So your one miss ends up being a very, very small miss.
He would have actually finished, I guess, in Stroud's spot, or maybe Purdy's spot, or maybe Geno Smith's spot, had he not gotten benched. Had he not gotten benched for yours, this would have been a win for me. But the only reason why I took it, for those that remember, is I hated the wording on it. If I remember correctly, he said, if you draft two, it's a day closer to death. But it's he wasn't really costing you much. He was going to be your third quarterback if you took him. It was implying that you completely punted on the position. So really the only reason why we took this was the wording. He would have hit had he not gotten benched. And if you somehow took Tua and just dropped him for yours, you were still getting around that value. So it wasn't a catastrophic miss on my end either.
Yeah, it's a lot better to miss on a guy who is slated at QB 24 than like a
And he
running
finished
back
25.
Yeah, or like
So you
not
didn't get
missing
any
on a
negative
running back.
surplus. You didn't get like any crazy negative surplus value there.
Yeah, you kind of floated right around your draft value for him. And the other thing is Tyreek Hill had a catastrophic injury as well, which
Yes.
I mean,
Which is actually, by the way, so I'm going to link this in. What ChatGPT Concierge put is that, hey, if Tyreek Hill and Waddle are healthy, he'll hit it. Well, Tyreek Hill wasn't healthy. So actually, the robot was pretty fucking accurate too, for those that want to actually go through that.
Yeah. And I mean, if you tell me we get another, I mean, he got injured pretty early in the season.
Yeah, because I mean, realistically, if you add one more Tyreek Hill touchdown, this is a win.
Yeah.
Just literally one more.
Yep. So at the end of the day, not a bad miss. But it does take the score to 2-1.
Based on the way this went, he can have it.
All right. Next up on the list is the running back.
Oh, by the way, before we just jump into that quickly, I thought Ewers looked all right down the stretch. Just because and the only reason why I'm bringing that up is because I was higher on Ewers than maybe the consensus. I thought it was crazy that he went in the 7th round. I thought he was more of a 3rd, maybe 4th round pick, but I thought he looked pretty good. So had you just dropped Tua and picked up Ewers, like there was no problem there, honestly.
Yeah. And interested to see how that plays out, because might end up being a starter next year. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to give him a season and see what you get.
Yeah, I'm saying if you're in like a long-term league, like having Ewers as a stash, I don't know if that's a bad thing for next year. So,
and once again, at the cost point of getting him on your team, it's really you're only spending a couple free agent dollars at the most in a roster spot. So, over to the running backs. We've got the top end of the running backs up on the screen. The first running back we have to discuss is Ashton Jeanty. And this was a two-parter. We had had a couple of two-parters throughout this. The two-parter on Ashton Jeanty is his position and his overall finish. Position was RB5. Overall player number 8. Took him to finish worse than both of those spots.
Yeah, so not only did he finish worse than both of those spots, he didn't even clear on the running back. So like if you just hey, overall, what was it, player 8?
Yep.
I mean, he's not close to overall player 8. He's running back 15.
Not even close. Also, I do find it quite funny as a group at Vendetta, we've been very supportive of DeAndre Swift, and he did finish above Ashton Jeanty. He wasn't a player in the list that we have here, but I do want to point that out because over the years, everyone has been supportive of the Swifties. Yeah,
it's a perfect example because I had Swift everywhere again. I have him on my team in the auction league for $18, and the fact that Jeanty went with the number 1 pick in the rookie draft for my league. So the fact that he outperformed Jeanty just makes this so much more funny.
Yep. And this is another situation where, and we laid this out pretty good, I think. It's rookie running back on a bad team.
Yep.
And
which, by the way, that should be brought up because everyone wants to. It's funny how everyone wants to move the goalpost now. So I reached out to those club fantasy guys. I was like, "Hey, how's Ashton Jeanty doing?" And the response I got back was, "Well, the Raiders are really bad." Well, I recall saying that the Raiders were a guaranteed last place team. So like, no, that's not how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
You guys are the one who said, "Hey, Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, maybe they could be halfway competent." No. Trey's the one that said they were a guaranteed last place team. And what do you know? They're a guaranteed last place team fighting for the number 1 pick in the draft. So again, and by the way, the only reason why he's at 15 and not lower is because they gave him the ball 800 fucking times. So if he just, because like, remember they signed Mostert, they didn't really give him any, like think about how many touches this Jeanty got. And by the way, if you look at his average score, it's low. It's way lower. So based on like some of the guys that got hurt, like his actual average per game, it's lower than 15.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I this, like, to me, this is if you pick Jeanty, that's a catastrophic miss. And I just pulled this up. 3.7 yards per carry. That's not good. And again, the only reason why he's even this high, 240 fucking carries. That's a lot. And that's not even including the 52 receptions that he had.
Yeah.
We're talking about a guy who had almost 300 touches, and he still didn't hit it.
And could you imagine if you had him in a dynasty league? And it's like,
Yeah.
I spent my 1-1 on him, and I'm watching them just run him into the ground on a last place team to salvage a mediocre rookie season stat line.
Yeah, he's basically a middle tier RB2.
Yep.
And
that is infuriating.
Yeah, so which by the way, I recall, I don't know how we want to play this, but we said, hey, bonus point, Travion Henderson finishes higher. He didn't finish higher, but he finished higher from weeks, 7 on? Because basically earlier in the season, he was splitting touches with Ramondre Stevenson. He was basically kept in the doghouse. He was returning kicks. At the second half of the year, he smoked them. So the weeks that actually mattered, Henderson came through. He didn't finish higher in the full season, but it was basically because of volume. But during the weeks that mattered, he fucking hammered them. So I don't know how you want to score this one, but to me, this was a complete. I don't know who could have been more accurate than me on this Jeanty thing. I really don't.
Yeah, I say we'll leave the bonus point out of the equation because it's already going to get quite nasty anyways.
Fair.
But like you said, Henderson, like, if you had him in the first couple weeks, like, he's not really doing much, not his fault. And I guess you could say the same about Jeanty being on a bad team, but it's a lot easier to predict bad team than really talented player just not getting the football.
It's like having a good prospect in baseball where, hey, Roman Anthony, April, May, he was still in the minors, didn't really help you, but like, holy shit, second half of the year, he's starting to fucking really carry you. So, I mean, that's basically the equivalent of how this one played out.
Mm-hmm.
And again, can we just the lack of accountability on this Jeanty thing to me is actually unbelievable. Like, nobody's talking about it. We crown this guy as the next LaDainian Tomlinson, Barry Sanders. He's not close. Like, I don't know who needs it. What can I just ask? Like, what's the gap between him and Monangai? I'm being dead serious. What the fuck is the gap between him and Monangai? Because I don't really see one.
Yeah, that's very true. And
like Monangai went in the 7th round.
And Swift was there. Like, you know what I mean? They didn't feed Monangai like they did Jeanty.
Monangai was way more efficient. And Monangai, despite being the second running back on his own team, was still an RB3, which to me I think is incredible. So,
but like you said, to start this off, there were big goalpost moves.
Yes.
On this one, because I just want to reiterate that this was not a hard eval from a fantasy perspective of you just don't take the rookie running back on a bad team, and now everyone is using that as an excuse when that was always going to be the
and my favorite one is, well, the Raiders' offensive line is bad. You knew that going in, and if you didn't know that going in, that's a you problem.
yeah, that's your fault. You're an idiot if that's the case.
So what's the score we're up to? Is that 4-1 now?
4-1. Yep.
Okay.
And then another two-parter here with Chase Brown. The lines on Chase Brown are to perform worse than RB7, overall 16.
Which he didn't hit either because he's RB12, and if they add in the receivers, he's not close. Yeah. So, and this one was actually looking worse mid-season. He actually got hot in the fantasy playoffs. But overall, if you drafted Chase Brown to be your RB1, you got smoked. And I do want to, if we can, pull up that video because context is always important here. When Joe Burrow got hurt with that toe injury, Matthew Berry not only told you, hey, Chase Brown's value unaffected. That's on record. And what he did after the Joe Burrow injury, I thought was one of the biggest scumbag moves I've ever seen. So if we want to pull that up, I don't know if this is going to get copyrighted or not, if Sophie can somehow avoid that in the edit, but I do think that should be played because I thought, honestly, that was one of the most disgusting things I've seen from anybody in sports media in a long time.
You're right. I mean, like, he's been under pressure each of the first, game and a half, however long he was there. Either way, Joe Burrow drinks for free today here at the happy hour bar. Joe, we love you.
That's
and,
good.
We hope for
again, maybe people will disagree with me on this. I can't ever imagine giving somebody a fucking round of applause for a potential season-ending injury. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. If you actually go look at his two co-hosts, they're like, do we want to clap? Do we not want to clap? I don't know. James Herrick, you feel free to weigh in, but at minimum, that shit was fucking weird.
Yeah, it's weird at minimum, and at least at minimum, and very, very dirty thing to do. Because this has become like a hot topic as well, celebrating injuries, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone has pretty much agreed, like, hey, we probably just shouldn't do that. Like,
yeah.
At point blank period. And I also want to throw in the fact that it is stupid. Like, in what world does Joe Burrow getting hurt help Chase Brown as a fantasy asset?
But it's in that video. Anybody that wants to go watch it, it's in that video.
Like, the logic as well behind why we're clapping, that's dumb as well. So it's a double whammy as well from a moral and intelligence standpoint. He went 0 for 2 on those two aspects because I think I want Joe Burrow to help move the football off the field because that offense looked quite putrid when it got a little bit better when they traded for Flacco and Joe came back eventually.
Yeah.
But like some of those games in there where they're trying to move the football were bad.
So just for full context, I don't watch his show religiously. The only reason why I wanted to watch that clip is because Chase Brown was involved in the challenge. And when Joe Burrow got hurt, I wanted to see if there was going to be a stance change, which would have been understandable. Hey, Joe Burrow's hurt. Maybe we want to bail on Chase Brown and trade him or something. I just wanted to see what the stance was going to be. And the fact that he came out and said, well, his status is probably unaffected. He's still an RB1. And let's give Joe Burrow a round of applause for getting hurt. I don't know, man. I just thought that was fucking crazy.
Yep. I agree with you. And despite all that applause, he still goes 0-2 on those.
All right, so what are we at? 6-1 now?
6-1. 2 points up for Chase Brown. Takes us to 6-1. Next player on the list, Omarion Hampton. This was to finish worse than RB15 and then overall player number 30.
And by the way, just because I know people are going to bring this up beforehand, while he got hurt, if you take his average points per game, he still didn't hit this mark. So let's make that clear. His average points per game, he was still, I believe, RB19. I can double check that for sure. But even if you want to take the injury parts out and only focus on the weeks that he played, he still didn't hit RB13.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find his actual finishing position here.
Yeah, it was low.
It is quite low. I'll tell you. I'm looking for it, and it's not very good. 36.
Yes.
36. And all right, that is
ride or die, RB36.
I can pull up his actual finishing position. I just had to scroll quite far through the list to find which one to pull up here. And
by the way,
36.
By the way, Scatabo finished ahead of him. And they missed basically roughly the same amount of games. And Scatabo's, you can see the 15.0. His average score was higher.
Yep.
So hey, let's just call it how it is. There's a direct comparable right there. The guy that got picked in the 3rd round by the Giants, who was basically free in every fantasy draft, you were better off going with him.
Yep. And
so the fact that he didn't clear Scatabo, I don't want to hear no fucking injury excuse.
Yeah. And like some of the other names on here, like he didn't really clear Vidal by that much. Like
yeah, barely.
And I mean, this is the start of the season here, and Vidal started with some blanks, and you could have picked Vidal up on waivers.
Hold on, that's not even the funniest part about it. The funniest part about it is Vidal didn't make their opening season roster. He opened the year on the practice squad and got fucking cut. And he still barely cleared him.
And I'll tell you what, when he played, Vidal looked as well.
I was going to say that too. I was like, what we just talked about, what's the gap between Jeanty and Monangai? What's the gap between Hampton and Vidal? Because, yeah, Hampton's got some size on him. But outside of that, I don't know. Are we saying he's miles better? Because I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah. And once again, it's a story of capital to acquire the player.
Yep.
Hampton, you're spending a lot of money, as well as like actual draft capital.
Hampton was probably some people's first running back, depending on if they went receiver first.
Yep.
So
yeah.
He absolutely fucked you if you went Hampton. If you listen to this, Matthew Berry, hey, ride or die, leave every fucking draft with Hampton. He killed you.
Some poor soul out there went Jeanty 1 and Hampton 2 and just.
By the way, one of Barry's. So I'm gonna have a separate post that comes out about this. One of Barry's employees actually did that. I'm gonna be fucking screen recording it and putting it in another article, just so everyone's aware of that.
That is funny. I thought of that like, wow, that would really suck if somebody did that. And then
somebody, you know what? Somebody not only did that, one of his employees did that. And I will be screen recording it, and you'll know when you see it. So just be on the lookout for that in the coming days.
Also, this was another situation where it took him to not hit overall player number 30, and he ends up not even hitting that mark.
Also, did we have a bonus point on Henderson for this one? Because Henderson fucking smashed him.
Yeah, that's true. I don't remember. I thought I had all the bonus points written down, but so we might not have had bonus points for Henderson. I don't remember that.
I thought we put. Maybe we'll have to double check, but
yeah.
I thought we had Henderson as the bonus point for Jeanty and Hampton as the rookie comparables. But it could be wrong.
It would have made sense to do that. But yeah, like you said, we definitely talked about Henderson in the video, whether it was we declared an official.
And Henderson was significantly cheaper than both of them going in.
Yep. Cheaper, outperformed in the playoffs. Like Henderson, was a league winner. The other guys were league losers.
Yeah, if you had Henderson in the first round of your playoff, you definitely won. Because his first round of the playoffs was nasty.
Yep.
So, what are we at? 8-1 now?
We are at 8-1, correct.
Okay.
And then next one, we have Alvin Kamara for him to finish below RB 17.
Yeah, and it was a home run. A complete home run. He wasn't healthy. Even when he did play, he wasn't any good. Basically, everything that I said in the video, it played out exactly how I said it was going to happen. To where, hey, not only does he play for a bad team, but he was part of the 2007 NFL draft where Dalvin Cook's out of the league. Joe Mixon has fallen apart. Like, so where is he at? RB 51.
Correct.
Yeah, and he missed some games, but his average score 6.7. That wasn't helping you. Yeah, horrible. And this is non-PPR too. But either way, his average score, even if you don't want to count the games he didn't play in, he still wasn't close to RB 17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and once again, this is one that I think we talked about this year and last year about like when the wheels fall off for Kamara, they're gonna fall off bad. And I'm someone who used to really like Kamara, but like this was a pretty clear like this is gonna age really horribly. Last year he had some big games to prevent that. This year, man, he aged horribly. He
got outscored by Emmanuel Wilson.
Yeah. Nick Chubb was. I like Nick Chubb, but he was coming back from a brutal injury again.
Yeah.
So, and he just keeps outscoring. So, yeah,
he got outscored by Bam fucking Knight.
That is outrageous. Yeah.
Who didn't open the season as the Cardinals number 1, number 2, or number 3?
That's never a good sign.
So, yeah. And I believe in the video, we said, hey, James Cook is being ranked right next to him.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, that's the next guy on the list. If we
Great.
want, we can go right over to Cook.
So we're at 9-1.
Yep, 9-1.
Great.
And it was, like you said, we had Kamara to.
I just thought that was again, we said it during the video. That was one of the dumber rankings that he put on the list. The fact that he put Cook and Kamara next to each other like they were the same fucking guy is insane.
Yep, and that's a situation where in your draft, like,
That was a league losing move.
Yes. In your draft, you are looking at the board and it's going to be like, okay, I'm drafting one of these two guys. And if you drafted Kamara over Cook, you were absolutely screwed.
Yeah.
So Cook finishes at RB5. Outperformed Jeanty. Or finished in Jeanty's spot.
Yeah, I don't know where you want to stand on being like a referee for this one. But we talk about like, hey, some things are more important than others in terms of a fantasy league. If you fuck this one up, you lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like point blank, end of story. Because when we like Jonathan Taylor, McCaffrey, Bijan, Gibbs, you had to pay up for those guys. Like, none of those guys were free. Where you were getting Cook at, what was it, 16, 17?
Yeah, the line was 16.
Yeah. Where you were getting Cook at RB16, he hammered that fucking ranking. I mean, like, if you picked Cook, that was one of the smartest moves you could possibly have made in all fantasy. Any pick, it didn't matter. That was one of the best moves you could possibly have made. And by the way, Matthew Berry is on record for saying James Cook was his dumbest call of the year. So if you want to track his stuff, he's already come out and said the James Cook pick was his worst call of the year. So I actually think this should be a bonus point too, because we're talking about a guy who posted over 300 fantasy points. Like,
yeah.
And we want to talk, hey, how would you have performed if you were in the same league as Matthew Berry? What would have happened? He would have gotten James Cook shoved down his fucking throat the whole season. And he would, like, I'm just saying, like, if this is a competition between me and Matthew Berry, if we actually were in the same fantasy league, he would have gotten James Cook shoved down his throat the whole fucking year. And he probably would have lost specifically because of it.
Yeah, I will honor a bonus point here for a couple reasons. For what you just said, pretty solid head-to-head with Kamara and Cook that was discussed.
Yeah.
Cook wins by a mile. The next guy on the
list. He won by 8,000 miles.
The next guy on the list was another fade in a similar draft position as well, in Breece Hall, who was actually a little bit higher.
Yeah, right.
Took him to.
So where are we at? 10-1?
11 with the bonus point.
Got it.
So, because now he outperformed both guys that we discussed, Hall being the next one. So this was a great call all around for multiple different players. So bonus point.
And hey, we talk about this all the time. I don't want running backs on bad teams. Look at the top of this list. Jonathan Taylor. I mean, the Colts were on fire at the start of the year before they lost Daniel Jones. They were basically the 1 seed.
Yeah, and they still weren't a bad team. They were not nearly as good, but they weren't like.
But again, look at the way this list always plays out. McCaffrey, 49ers are about to play for the 1 seed. Bijan, which, the Falcons aren't great, but they're starting to pick up some wins here. Well, they have 7 wins. It's not a disaster. They're not the Raiders.
Yep.
Gibbs with the Lions. Had some bad luck there, but they're still a borderline playoff team. They still won a bunch of games. Cook with the Bills. They're a playoff team. Henry, they're battling. They're in the last week for the division, so they're not a bad team. Achane is really the one. Hey, the Dolphins kind of sucked, but other than that, Rams, Jaguars are good. The top of this list, they're all good teams.
Yeah.
For the 80-90% of them are good teams.
Yeah, and even the guys who you could say are on bad teams, they're not on the 4-win team. They're not on the 3-win team.
Right.
They're not on the teams that are picking in the top 10. They're on teams that are picking in the teens.
Right.
And like the difference in between, if that was the difference in between like a playoff team and then that middle tier team slightly below the playoffs, that's the difference between why we're finishing 7 to 14 rather than the top 5 as well.
Right.
So
it plays out every year. I don't know why people don't listen to me, but again, as long as James Cook plays for the Buffalo Bills, he's going to be around this mark every fucking time. Until he ages out, obviously, but still.
Yeah. All right. And then Breece Hall was the next guy on the list.
And his was 14 to clear, right?
Yep, 14.
Finishes 17.
Finishes 17. This was one of the victory for you, but one of the closer calls.
Yeah.
But we've brought this up already, but once again, the major discussion in these three players was to take James Cook. So it was Breece Hall's going to finish worse than 14, but also when you're in that range, you shouldn't be trying to get Breece Hall. You should be trying to get James Cook instead.
Yeah, Breece Hall didn't kill you, but hey, what did I say again? The Jets, fucking disaster. And there were some weeks where you had Breece Hall where he was a nothing. Like, if you just go and look at Breece Hall, like, the only weeks he really mattered were he had, like, the long touchdown runs. It was only, like, maybe 4 or 5 weeks where he even cracked your lineup. Like, his average score, 11.7. Nothing really to write home about. Like, he's got a bunch of weeks where he scored 25, and then he scored a bunch of weeks where he scored 4.
Yeah. I mean, you can see it in the list here on the games.
Those are the early season weeks, but yeah.
Yeah, but still, in the early season weeks, not quite as important. 5.9, 5.2, 36.8.
That's what he did the whole year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there were a couple weeks where he helped you, but for the most part, he was not a top-end RB2.
Yep. All right.
So where are we at?
We are at 12-1. Any closing thoughts on running backs before we switch over to pass catchers?
Oh, God. Hey, Monungai is pretty fucking good. That's all I know. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, at some point, people got to fold their fucking cards. He's just not that good at fantasy. And I think the worst part, the one thing I want to add on the running backs, the worst part about it, he's got this Connor Rogers, and he's supposed to help him because it's clear and obvious Matthew Berry doesn't watch or know anything about college football. He's got this Connor Rogers who's supposed to help him, and this Connor Rogers is a Jets guy. He couldn't be helping him worse. I mean, he couldn't be giving the guy fucking worse advice when it comes to Jeanty or Hampton. So if we want to say, hey, you know, this isn't just about fantasy football. My NFL draft takes are fucking hammering this Connor Rogers. And that's played out in fantasy too. So just want to mention that.
Yeah, there's a big connect there, which a lot of people, I think people are starting to realize more than ever. I think the trend is going in the right direction there. But like, if you can't scout prospects, you also can't draft rookies.
Which is why he missed on like 5 or 6 picks here, because he's gotten bad advice from this Connor Rogers who doesn't really, or I guess has shown his cards in terms of he's not that good at this in terms of the NFL draft stuff.
Yeah,
we're talking about a guy who had Audric Estime ranked higher than Bucky Irving last year. So I'm sure keep listening to this Connor Rogers. He knows everything.
That's a crazy take as well.
He did. It's documented. I got the screenshot.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pull that up for you while you do this next part. Actually,
all right. The wide receivers. We'll pull up the top of the list here. First wide receiver on the list is another two-parter. It is Nico Collins. The line was wide receiver 5 and position overall 10, and it was the over on both of those. He finishes as wide receiver 8, and that also puts him over 10 overall. So, and I don't think either of us were sitting here saying Nico Collins was going to suck, but I think the overall discussion was that the ranking was just simply too high to where you had to take him to finish worse than the lines.
Yeah, for anybody that remembers, this was specifically a Chickster play. I was not going to add this to the list. Like, I personally didn't think the Nico Collins ranking was fucking outrageous. Like, I never saw it as, hey, 5's probably too high, but I'm not going to tell you not to draft him. He wasn't on the cheese list. He wasn't on, hey, avoid Nico Collins at all costs. So with that in mind, we actually probably were the most accurate in terms of 5's too high, but I don't mind him if you pick him at 10, 11, 12. So he kind of finished exactly where maybe a touch smidge higher, but finished around where I thought he would. And he didn't come close to the overall ranking either. So,
yep.
Two-parter again. Shout out Chickster for this one. I wasn't going to add this to the list, but yeah, I mean, Nico Collins wasn't a bad fantasy pick. Like, you didn't fucking lose because you picked Nico Collins, but he wasn't giving you the bang for the buck at wide receiver 5 either.
Yes, wide receiver 5 is just a very hard mark to hit. And if you're saying someone's going to be wide receiver 5, you're basically saying, like, that puts you in a tier of, I mean, you can see the guys on the list. Puka.
Pickens, by the way.
ASN. Yeah, Pickens. St. Brown. Like, the guys in there. And
Devontae led the league in touchdowns, and then he got chased. So,
yeah. So, like, the guys at the top of that list are, like you said, Devontae scoring a lot of touchdowns and the best receivers in the league. And, well, Devontae still, he's old, but he's still quite good. So, like, it's a very good list of guys up there.
Yeah, and I do recall Pickens being a favorite of Vendetta for a long, long time. I don't know. I was told that this guy wasn't any good, and he's wide receiver.
Weird. I see wide receiver 4.
Wide receiver 4, and that's while sharing targets with CD Lamb. So weird how that one worked out.
In an offense that is good, but not. I mean, they're not the best offense in the league to produce it. That is having CD on the team.
They're not even a playoff team.
Yeah. All right.
So what's the score at now?
It is now 14-1.
Okay.
And we'll take a brief intermission to toss up the Connor Rogers.
Oh, yeah. Which, by the way, again, I'm on record for saying that I don't know if you can zoom in on that or not.
I will. I just wanted to show that this is Connor Rogers, because the zoom in you don't see his name.
Yeah, so you'll notice Audric Estime, Ray Davis, Will Shipley, Isaac Garendo, Isaiah Davis. They're all ranked higher than Bucky Irving. And if you just go and look at my draft rankings, I don't know if do we need to send that? I think people know.
Yeah, we victory lapped that last year in the Matthew Berry, I believe.
So again, let's point out the fact that this Connor Rogers, he's giving him horrific advice. I mean, horrific advice. Yeah. So, and he had Jalen Wright as his RB2. That's laughable. So, yeah. As long as he keeps taking advice from this Connor Rogers, he's going to keep missing on these rookies.
Yeah, and just while it's up here, I mean, he's got the grades. Yellow, which is the tier Irving's in, is 5th round grade. 4th round grade for that gray color. Purple, 3rd round grade.
Second round grade for Jalen Wright. That is fucking banana land laughable.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about Jonathan Brooks last year as well. That was case is already closed on that.
So like again, we're trying to do this to help people in terms of fantasy. This Connor Rogers, you should not give a fuck what this guy has to say.
Yeah.
And when Matthew Berry speaks about rookies, just know it's coming from this viewpoint. And yeah, Jalen Polk ahead of McConkey's really.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wandered over to the wide receiver rankings just to see what was going on over there, and it wasn't much.
Penix ahead of Jane Daniels is interesting too.
Yeah.
So again, this Connor Rogers, he ain't got a fucking clue. Hey, what was it? Xavier Worthy. He's got Jalen Polk over Xavier Worthy too.
Yeah.
Fucking guy's brilliant.
Some of those are bad.
Yeah.
All right. Back to wide receivers.
14-1.
Yes, 14.
Okay.
Back to wide receivers. Next wide receiver on the list has been a long-term fade, I think is an accurate way to describe this one. It is Drake London. Player line was at wide receiver 9, and it's a two-parter with overall player number 14.
And he did not hit it. He was on track kind of like mid-season to hit it. Missed a couple weeks. But by the way, he came back. So it wasn't like he had a season ender. He played the last 2 weeks of the fantasy playoffs. Didn't do a whole lot, but let's not. Hey, oh, he missed a couple weeks, so he didn't. No. So yeah, he wasn't. What did he finish? 20 something. Whenever you can get that up.
Yeah, I'm looking for him. When he doesn't finish in wide receiver 1, and I got to switch here in the top list. All right.
So yeah, he missed a couple weeks, but his average score wasn't fucking insane either.
No. And like, I think this is another good example of last year we talked about him getting a lot of targets, and then this year it was Penix isn't that great, and like, yes, Penix got hurt, but like prior to that it wasn't really that big of a
here we go. It's wide receiver 24.
Yep.
And 12 points a week. It's not anything fucking outrageous. So
yeah, this was ended up being a pretty, not like he was terrible, but another situation where bar is way higher than player needs to be.
If you're getting outscored by Wan'Dale Robinson, I don't want to fucking hear it.
Yeah, Wan'Dale Robinson, by the way, ended up being the sneaky over, or he was over a lot of guys.
Yeah. And we had this conversation last year with the wide receivers, but like the point totals, they're all right next to each other. Like if you ended up with DJ Moore instead of Drake London, it's a 4-point gap, you know, like, so a lot of these receivers, you're getting the same points. It's just a matter of what weeks they scored them.
Yep. I mean, Parker Washington has 125 and CeeDee Lamb has 131.
Yeah.
And they're 5 spots apart in the rankings. Like, obviously, I'd rather have CeeDee than Parker Washington, but
right. But again, these wide receivers, they're all kind of right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like really reached for London, he did not help you.
Yep.
Bottom line, it's not arguable. And this was a 2-parter too.
Yep. So it ends up taking the score to 16-1.
Great.
And the next one is, oh boy, it's a doozy. We have Matthew Golden. Golden was.
I do want to play that. I do want to specifically play that video because I just think it's so important to recognize that was truly a league losing move.
Yep. Do you want to start with the video or start with?
Yeah, let's start with the video.
Okay. So our video here, those are the rankings.
There's Golden at wide receiver 100, averaging three fantasy points a game.
Right on the dot.
Malik Neighbors outscored him and didn't play after week. Was that 4?
Yeah. I mean, it's never good when you're in there with Juju Smith.
Malik Neighbors outscored him in basically 1 week.
All right, and then the video clip here is going to be last year, or excuse me, not last year, the start of the year. Because because I want to play that specifically because at the end of your draft, you're kind of just taking, hey, this guy can help me at the end of my bench. Hey, if I'm in a best ball league, if I take this guy, maybe he'll help me certain weeks, but maybe not every week. But like this Golden gamble was one of truly the worst gambles you could have made. All right, this is last year.
Can you scroll down for the date?
We'll do Golden though, simply because I'm obligated because I don't have Golden ranked very high, so we'll add him. I know that he's not being ranked super high, but I guess we'll add it as a minor one.
Wide receiver 37.
Ooh, that's really not that high.
Well,
we'll take it anyway.
I
finished 100.
I don't like this Matthew Golden stuff.
I don't either. So I feel like I got to take it out of principle just based on my draft notes, because unlike Barry, I'm a man of integrity.
By the way, I had him as a 5th round.
We'll add it anyway. So. I don't, because here's where I'm at. You could tell me any of these Packers receivers will lead him in points. Like
Christian Watson
told
was
me, hey,
right.
Magic 8 Ball. It's actually Dontavian Wicks who led him. Like I could see any of these motherfuckers doing it. Jaden Reed, Dobbs, Christian Watson when he comes back.
Who I had.
Tucker Kraft could lead him, honestly.
Who had a monster year.
So I don't think it's crazy to say any. Like if Matthew Golden is the top Packers receiver, I wouldn't be like surprised, but out of principle, we'll take it anyway.
If I'm taking a Packers receiver, it almost has to be a best ball league, right? Like I would
If they don't play in best ball, which is a great
trying
point.
to figure out if I'm trying to start a guy in a lineup league
Oh,
and they play for that Packers receiving room.
That's a great point.
And there's going to be weeks where it's like, all right, so I'm
Could you
I'm
imagine
gonna start this
starting
guy and then he gets you 0 and then you lose a matchup because of it.
Yeah, that's a great point because he's in a lineup league.
Yeah.
They're all doing this based on lineup leagues.
We can skip ahead a little bit. I just want to go over
So
the
when we
list of
review
names that
Matthew
people are
Golden a year
passing
from
on.
now, let's factor in. There's probably definitely a handful of weeks where somebody's
Guys out here because I think this might add more context. This is his wide receiver rankings.
yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's start at wide receiver. We'll start at 34 because Jacoby Myers is
This is what I
33 and he just requested a trade. So we'll start at 34. 34, Roma Dunze. 35, Ricky Pearsall. 36, Emeka Ibuka. 37, Matthew Golden. 38, Chris Olave. 39, Juwan Jennings. 40, Stephon Diggs. 41, Jerry Jeudy. 42, Debo Samuel.
I would take all of those guys except for maybe Jennings.
But they all hit.
43, Jordan Addison. 44, Khalil Shakur. 45, Cooper Kupp.
I would take all of those
Ooh,
guys.
did Cup outscore him?
So
I think
like
he did.
this is
That's good. Cup was probably the only one that may not have. Let me look. Cup was wide receiver 57.
okay.
So every name on that list outscored him. Every single one.
Pearsall got him,
Yep.
which was a name in there, and like he didn't play that many games.
Yeah. So literally, I think this one should be a multi-point one too, just because if you're at like, those are the picks that win you your league. I had Olave on my team. I had him everywhere. Olave finished as wide receiver 6. Like, you can't walk out of that draft with Golden and then not only have Golden, but like, if you stashed Golden, like, hey, he'll figure it out. Oh, he'll figure it out. Like, you screwed yourself by keeping him and not cutting him.
Yep. And Addison was I think our bonus point we allotted here, which Addison outscored him, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
By a mile. And I'd say we throw another one in there for the list of guys.
Yeah.
That
All of
came
them.
out
Every
scored.
single one of them.
Yep. So I've got 1 point for his under, 1 point for Addison outscoring him, and then just a general bonus point for the list of guys, with the focal point being Olave.
He got outscored by John Mechie. Come on, man. I mean, he got outscored by Khalif Raymond, who's a special teams guy.
Yeah.
So this Golden thing, laughable from the jump. I can't believe there's no accountability here. The fact that people had this guy as a legitimate first round prospect is fucking silly.
Yep. And then I also think this is a good time to.
And if anyone wants to go read my draft notes on Matthew Golden, please do, because I dare you to find someone who had a more accurate description on what he was going to do.
Yeah. And I think this is a good time as well to toss in your team.
Yeah. By the way,
It's-
look at my stashed guys that I have in college. Dante Moore. Can you scroll down and pull up the date on when I took those guys?
The post is from September 4th.
Yeah, our draft is actually in April. So Carnell Tate's going to go in the first round. Dante Moore is going to go in the first round. Zachariah Branch will probably go in the first or second round. And then there's my team where I used that money to pick Olave because I wanted him. But
Yep. And this is just, once again, 13-team league, proving some of the points here of guys we've talked about. Henderson, Irving from last year, Cook, Monungai, and Swift. And then receivers, Olave. Pitts we'll talk about in a second. I think he's actually the last.
so
guy.
I actually did trade Pitts.
Okay.
I traded him for Travis Hunter, which Travis Hunter got hurt, but I have Travis Hunter for $8 for the next 2 years now. So
Yes, that's worth it.
yeah.
So just to prove the point there, because a lot of those guys we had already talked about them, and just to prove the point that they're not just names on a list. Guys,
I was going to keep Pitts, but the only reason why I made that trade is because the guy who had Travis Hunter was panicking. So I was like, I mean, he's still the second pick in the draft, and they're still going to use him. And sure, I'll take the shot.
Yep.
It's basically a free rookie pick. So
Yeah, might as well. And then we have 2 more wide receivers on the list, and going to skip around a little bit from our original doing of this. That way we can keep the tight ends together. But we have 2 wide receivers left who were wide receiver 28 and wide receiver 29, and had them both to outperform that number. That was DK Metcalf and Zay Flowers.
And they both did.
Yep. I think they're both in.
They're actually in the first one, I think.
Even better.
Yeah.
Metcalf at 16, Flowers at 14.
Yeah, so both hammer this ranking. They were borderline or wide receiver 2s, and Barry basically told him to take them as like wide receiver 4s or 3s. So if you were just like, hey, we're doing your snake draft, who should I take at receiver a bit later? If you took Metcalf at a discount or Flowers at a discount, you had smashing value. I don't know what more needs to be said on that, but he had those guys both ranked too low.
Yeah, that was a pretty simple one, just in terms of players who are pretty securely.
And Metcalf got suspended for the last, 2 games. So he actually would have finished even higher.
Yeah, and that's another situation
from punching
where...
your guy Lion fan in the face or whatever the fuck. So
yeah, he finishes 142, and Tet McMillan is 13th with the 140. I think that's 148.
Yeah, so if Metcalf didn't get suspended, he may have finished as like a top 12.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously depends on how that game goes, but like there's routes to get inside the top 10 even.
Yeah,
like if he has a good game, if he has like a standard,
he scores a touchdown and 80 yards, he's in the top 10.
Yep, exactly. So, which DK Metcalf being a knucklehead doesn't exactly help anyone, but it did drag down his overall season. But
yeah, so those ones aren't even too complex. He just had them too low, and they were both hits.
Yep.
So what's the score at now?
That is 2 more points, takes us to 21-1.
Okay.
And then
this is comical.
This next one is a little bit of, we didn't really have the fleshed out numbers because I'm pretty sure we talked about tight ends and how the tight end position is just a wasteland. But the crux of the tight end argument was that
they weren't going to replicate Bowers.
Exactly.
And they did.
The 2 rookie tight ends.
And even a down Bowers year, they still didn't hit it.
Yeah. So it really wasn't a case against numbers, but rather production here. And they didn't come.
So if I remember correctly, I think they were both being ranked around 10, 11.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't exactly like fall off the fucking map. You kind of got what you paid for, more or less. But the whole point of it was, no, these guys are not the next Brock Bowers, and they're definitely not.
Yes. And
so I don't know if you even want to score those or what you want to do with them, but
I think the play is going to be a 1-0 or like 1 more point.
That's
for
fine.
That one, just because it's at the end of the day, it was an attempt to make an overall point about the tight end position.
Yeah,
and it was correct. And those guys didn't perform to the level of Brock Bowers. Not bad seasons, but the whole
well,
point
even like
correct.
if you missed out on both of those guys and you ended up with Juwan Johnson off the waiver wire, or you ended up with Jake Ferguson, or you ended up with even, I don't know, Theo Johnson as a waiver pick, like there really wasn't a monster gap, honestly.
Yeah. And a lot
like I picked up Gadsden, who did just fine.
Yeah. AJ Barner you're getting for free.
Yeah.
Harold Fannin ends up tight end 3, great year for him.
Yeah, by the way, like they weren't even the top rookie.
Yeah.
Fannin was the top rookie. So it would have been one thing if one of those guys were the clear-cut top rookie. They weren't the top rookie.
Yeah. So, pretty simple one. 1 point Trey takes us to 22-1. And then the last name on the list was the man, the myth, the fantasy football legend, Kyle Pitts, to outperform tight end 18, which I think you could.
Now, most of it came in 1 week. But it was a fantasy playoff week.
Yeah. So if he's gonna do it, and that's also the other thing about the tight end position. Like,
and he was 2 yards away from being tight end 4.
Yeah, and I mean, how many guys are really? The story of the tight end position is boom bust because they're not getting many yards.
Yeah,
if you're playing a PPR, they're not getting many receptions. Did they score a touchdown that week? Yes or no? In Kyle Pitts' case, did he score a touchdown that week? Yes. It just happened to be 3 of them in the same week.
Yeah,
in the fantasy football playoffs. So like, great. So,
but he was the league winner move in that first round.
Yes, he was. And once
again, and by the way, if anybody goes and reads the description on what he wrote for Pitts, it was actually fucking disrespectful.
Yep.
For anybody that wants, because I have all the stuff linked, you can do and read it on your own, but he basically acted like the guy was a fucking bum. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer, but he's not a fucking bum.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts has not lived up to the expectation of his draft selection, and that doesn't mean he's Jamarcus Russell. It means he's still Kyle Pitts, which is a functional NFL player who can easily outperform tight end 18.
It's like Dez Bryant, for example. Hey, Dez Bryant wasn't a Hall of Famer, but was he a horrible first-round pick? Probably not. You know, he's a functional player. I think those two are kind of the same. Well, different positions, but like, yeah, Pitts wasn't a top 5 or so pick, but he's not a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
If you're finishing as a top 5 player at your position, you're not a disaster.
Yeah. And it's asking people to use some logic and think through a situation,
and the quarterback play in Atlanta wasn't great either.
Yeah, that's true. Drake London had the same situation, and he didn't hit the mark. So Kyle Pitts did.
So I guess we could take this stuff off the screen.
Yeah.
23-1 this year?
22-1. Okay. Yeah. Oh, no, 23. Sorry. 23. You're right.
Again, I'm going to say this one more time. If the roles were reversed, I was paid millions of dollars to do fantasy football. Somebody called my picks out, and I got fucking hammered like this. I'd be forced to retire. I would want to. You know what I would want to do? I would want to be in a fantasy league with the guy that called me out. Seriously, I would want to somehow prove that this was fucking bullshit. I would want to somehow prove, hey, let's do a podcast together. Let's do a fantasy league together. Because you can't hide these fucking receipts. It's actually a fucking joke how badly I'm destroying him. So let's just if the roles were reversed, I would truly want to be in something to prove this was wrong. Because hiding on this, I don't know, man. To me, the guy has zero credibility now. You can't get fucking steamrolled like this. And by the way, again, on his most confident picks, I'm going based on I'm not cherry picking whatever I want. I'm going off of his column, his most confident picks. So the fact that he's getting obliterated on the things he feels most confident about, we're not going over everything. This is his list. So the fact that he's getting fucking blitzed like this, I don't know, man. I actually can't believe more people aren't talking about it.
Yeah. And I think another important note off that is there are guys that would have been, if it was based on his rankings and not his love-hate, there's other guys like Henderson, like Olave, who we've talked about a little bit today. Like guys like that would have been on there, and it would have been more points.
Oh, if I could cherry pick whatever, if I could have cherry picked whatever I wanted, the score would have been worse.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can only, again, the rules, I can only use the names on his love-hate column.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and he has since, that is his last one, right? He has shut down the love-hate column, which is another bad sign.
Again, I specifically asked the robot concierge, do you think I ended his column? I challenge anybody to do the same thing because you can. I asked, hey, will you give, if somebody random asks, will you give the same answer? It says yes. Go ask the robot. Did I end his love-hate column? It's going to tell you basically there were a lot of factors, but yes, I was his main factor in ending his column. So if we do this again next year, I'm going to have to go through his videos. It'll be how it has to be, but I don't know if I can stop based on the fucking scores.
The only problem is how does it get better? Like you've set a high bar. It's a high bar.
The only way he's gonna get better is if he copies my stuff beforehand.
That is true.
But yeah, unbelievable this year. And I think the rounding total now for the 3 years that we've done it is it 46-4 or something like that now?
It's something because both years he's had very little points. As well. So it is.
This was by far the biggest beating because we took it. And by the way, I should have took the Javonte. God, anybody that goes and watches the video, I said, you know what? I think Javonte's gonna have a good year, but I don't know if I trust him to stay healthy. So there was a couple that I thought about taking and didn't.
Yeah, and this, like you said, this was the year with the most picks.
Yeah.
So score obviously higher, but when you take more picks, there's more opportunities for loss. But that didn't come to fruition, and you left some on the board, which is even crazier.
Yeah, because I really considered taking Javonte. I was like, I really only care about the fantasy playoffs. Is he going to be healthy for the? That's the only reason why I didn't take it, because I really like Javonte this year. But yeah, a complete fucking beating. Honestly, I'm tempted to tag him because I know that he knows it exists. I've confirmed with the robot on that. But man, like, if the roles were reversed, I would want to be in a fantasy league to prove that I'm not a complete bum.
You got to get your get back somehow.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't really give a fuck if he wants to or not. But I'll put as me being nice. If he wants to join my fantasy league, he's got an invite to do so. I don't give a fuck if he's in or not. I'm just saying if he wants to prove that he's not a complete bum, the invite's open.
That's a kind gesture.
Yeah. All right, Herrick, any closing thoughts? Because this was unbelievable to me, truly.
I've got all my thoughts off my chest, either today or previous videos on the topic. So my thoughts are all off my chest.
All right, another win. We'll be pumping out a bunch of content because there's going to be some ricochet shots with some of his people, but just be on the lookout for that stuff too.